Welcome, students. We're going to do a little sequence today that accentuates backbends. And I love to step on my mat sometimes, and where the emphasis is preparing for a backbend. Backbends, right, they're about strengthening the back, but they're also about opening the chest, opening the heart, kind of eliciting this passionate in response in our own yoga practices when we practice these back bends. And to me, that transfers over in life, my outlook on life and how I react and how I treat others. So we're going to start with a wide-legged child's pose, big toes touching, wide in the knees. We're going to make room for the torso and rest the crown of the head to the ground as we come into our wide-legged child's pose. Inhaling, exhaling through the nose, calming the mind. Letting everything go. Child's pose is a beautiful pose that lengthens the spine and kind of calms the mind. It's a resting posture. In child's pose, I often kind of press through my palms and I simply send my hips back close to my knees. From here, we're going to go into cat and cow. I often take my hands and press them directly under my shoulders. I'm in all fours. I like to kind of tuck my toes on this one. Inhale, the chest is up, the belly button. Exhale, we round the back belly button to the spine. We're connecting. Inhale, look up, breath with movement. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, tailbone out. Exhale, tailbone in, round the back. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round it. Come to all fours. This is where we just come to a little bit of a neutral spine. We're going to extend the right arm and the left leg, and we find our spinal balance. On the exhale, we draw the elbow to the knee. Inhale, look up. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, spinal balance. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, balance. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine. One more time, exhale. Inhale, find that balance. And in find the balance, we're going to abduct the right arm and the left leg. We're finding a little bit of balance and strength. We're going to press outer edge here of the left foot, rooting under that right knee. Gate pose. On the exhale, we're going to simply draw the left arm down. Open that right side body. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Inhale, rise. This time, rest the right hand to the ground, opening that left side body. I like to press outer edge of the left foot and almost draw that right hip forward. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Inhale, rise. Kind of standing on both knees here. Draw the arms up. On the exhale, I kind of tilt those elbows up. Open the chest. Open the heart. Stay here, 3 breaths. Gently release. Come back to all fours. Tabletop here. Again, tucking the toes, linking the breath with movement. Inhale, chest forward, tailbone out. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round the back. Inhale. Exhale. Exaggerate the pose. Inhale. Exhale. exhale. And come into just a little neutral tabletop. This time we're going to extend the left hand, extend the right leg. Find the balance. On the exhale, draw the elbow towards the knee. Inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. 2 more. Last one, and I want you to find the balance here. Find the balance in this strength. Abducting the left arm and the right leg. Find that balance. Press outer edge of the right foot. On the exhale, draw that left arm up. Open that side body. Inhale, exhale through the nose. This is where I take my left top ribs, draw them back. Draw the right bottom ribs forward. Inhale, rise. Kind of gripping here with the fingertips of the left hand. I like to grow the pose, opening that right side body, and this is where I press outer edge of the right foot, but draw that left hip forward. Inhale, rise. Standing on both knees. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, tilt those elbows up. Now I want you to open the chest, open the heart. We'll stay here 3 breaths. Upper spine through the heart. Gently release. Coming into our first down dog of our practice. We'll dynamically heel and toe. Heel and toe. Maybe add a little spinal wave. I like to kind of root from the tailbone through the crown of the head, and I almost come up on, kind of relevating up on the balls of the feet as I exaggerate the spinal wave. It just feels good, dynamic movement. Transition forward, we're going to walk it forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. I gaze forward and down. My neck is long. Many of us will keep the hands on the shins or the thighs. Exhale, come into my first dynamic forward fold. Heel and toe, still awakening. Gently swan dive up. Open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, heart center. Often when I come into a practice where I kind of emphasize my back bends, I like to kind of address my shoulders. So I'd like you to, if you have a yoga strap, which I hope you all do, and if you don't, you can even take a tie, you can take a jump rope, something that you can utilize to serve as a prop. And the props are there to help our practice. So we're rooting through the 4 corners of the feet. That's activating the arches in our feet and spreading the toes. Again, we call that Pada Bandha. Active legs, integrating even the pelvic floor, our Mula Bandha. I take the strap. Inhale, I draw the strap up. Exhale, I bring it back. Inhale, draw the strap up. Good. And keep doing this. I call this almost flossing the shoulders. We're taking care of that beautiful and delicate shoulder girdle. And I take the strap back here, and this is where I draw the shoulder blades. They come away from the spine here. And then I straighten the strap, and the shoulder blades come towards each other. So we're doing a little protraction, a little retraction here of the shoulder girdles again. And this is therapy for the shoulders. They move away, they come towards each other. They move away, they come towards ech other. Scapular retraction approach. Taking the strap, I used to be a former basketball player. I like to call these figure 8s, where I take the strap and I'm kind of coming on a little angle, a little diagonal angle, and I'm still awakening these shoulders, taking care of the beautiful shoulder girdle. They're kind of fun. Maybe take the strap a few more times. Inhale, draw it out. Gently release the strap. And we're going to set our own intention of our practice. Right away, a word comes to me. We talked about passion and opening the chest and opening the heart. And when we do that, it's easier for us to be kinder and more compassionate to others. So take a moment and close your eyes, possibly lower your head to your fingertips. Take a moment and set your own personal and meaningful intention for your practice today. Whatever this intention, I want you to breathe through the postures today. I want you to open the chest, open the heart, and open your mind to passion, to kindness, to compassion to others. And rise. We're going to come to the edge of the mat. We're going to do, I also have a few blocks that we might use later, 2 blocks and a strap. We're going to come to the edge of the mat, and we're going to start off with 2 Surya Namaskara A's, emphasizing Ashtanga Pranam, knee, chest, chin, between those. Rooting through the 4 corners with the inhale, draw those arms. Exhale, come into forward fold. If we still need to do a few dynamics, if we're still awakening, that's fine. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, sternum and chest forward, tailbone is out. Framing the feet, we're stepping back into Phalakasana, round the upper back. Press the heels back, draw the sternum forward. We're going to stay here 3 breaths, a little core work. Lower knee, chest, and chin all at the same time. This is where I kind of root my shoulders against the back ribs, and I'm just awakening the body. Knee, chest, and chin touching the ground at the same time. Ashtanga. From here, I come into transition easy cobra. Press to the tops of the feet, press to the palms, shoulders down the back, tucking the chin in just slightly, keeping length in the cervical vertebrae. On the exhale, I transition to all 4s. Lead through those hips, coming into down dog, and we'll stay here 3 breaths. Press through the palms, inner spiral the backs of the thighs. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Transition forward, walk it forward. Sternum and chest forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, swan dive up. Open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, right side. Inhale, rooting through the 4 corners of the feet. Draw those arms, shoulders down. Exhale, swan dive. And framing the feet, step back into Phalakasana. We'll stay here 2 more breaths. Activating core awareness. On the exhale, let's do knee, chest, and chin all at the same time. We'll stay here several breaths, warming up our back, warming up our shoulders. transition into easy cobra. Exhale. Adho Mukha, down dog. Firm those thighs. So I sometimes lift my kneecap by engaging my quadriceps. And then we're going to transition. We're going to bring both feet, they touch now in down dog. We're going to lift that left leg to about hip level. Rotating that left hip in. On the exhale, we're going to bring the knee to the chest, to the nose. Place the left foot next to the left hand. And it's from here that we're going to rest that right palm down. We're going to draw that left arm up, still awakening. We call this transverse rotation here, a little rotation across the planes. Stay here several breaths. On the exhale, we're going to almost claw the left hand, and we're drawing the right arm up. Got a little bit of wind here. Good. We're going to open the chest, open the heart here. Gently lower, framing the feet. Runner's pose. Lower the right knee to the ground, maybe one or two dynamics. To probably one of my favorite postures, beautiful Anjaneyasana. This is where I root through the four corners of the front foot and I lengthen the spine and I press through the back foot to open the chest, open the heart. Maybe we'll widen the arms a bit and draw the upper spine through the heart. Stay here, several breaths. Framing the foot, runner's pose. This is where I draw the quadricep almost to the backbone, to the thigh bone. Come into Adho Mukha, down dog. Stay here several breaths. Let's do a cleansing breath together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And just inhale, exhale through the mouth. Drawing both feet where they're touching in down dog. Lift that right leg to hip level. Rotate that right hip inward. Draw the right knee to the chest, to the nose. Place the right foot next to the right hand. Runner's pose. Left hand to the ground. Draw that right arm up. Rotate that left hip inward. Claw the right hand down and draw that left arm up. Open the chest, open the heart. Breathing into that intention you set for the practice. Gently lower, frame the foot. Lower that left knee to the ground. One or two dynamics. Inhale, create length through both feet, pressing into the ground. Roots and extension. Lengthen the spine and think about opening the chest, opening the heart. Transition, frame the foot. Runner's pose. Framing the foot, come back to down dog. This is where sometimes I take the heels, or I widen them to the edges of the mat, and I'm spiraling the backs of the thighs. Staying here, 3 breaths. Transition forward, we're gonna walk it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Drawing the sternum and chest close to the shins. Sitting bones rise towards the ceilings, towards the skies. And more to that midfoot. Breathe into those hamstrings. On the inhale, we'll swan dive up, counter the pose again by opening the chest, opening the heart. Exhale, heart center. Often in the older yoga lineage, they'll do Surya Namaskara B. In Surya Namaskara B, we activate Utkatasana chair and Warrior One. And in Utkatasana, sometimes I like to use a block. If you have a block, utilize the block. If you don't have one, sometimes a paper towel roll works. And in Utkatasana, I take the block and I place it high between the thighs here. And I root through the feet, active legs, and I'm squeezing my block. And when I do that, I almost take the femur heads. I'm squeezing the block and I take the femur heads and I rotate them inward, okay? And I'm also engaging my quadriceps, which is gonna help the rest of my practice a little bit. So I'm coming into this kinesthetically. That means through my body. On the exhale, I bend the knees, squeezing the block, and I'm sitting lower, squeezing the block, activating those quadriceps, drawing the shoulders down the back, opening the arms, opening the chest from the center of the chest, and I'm looking up a little bit, activating, squeezing the block. We'll stay here several breaths. Inhale, rise. Removing the block, and we'll flow into Surya B. This is whatever our flow is in the chaturanga, new chest chin, easy cobra, partial chaturanga to up dog, you choose. Inhale, draw those arms up. Exhale, come into forward fold. Inhale, halfway there. Framing the feet, step back into Phalakasana. We'll stay here several breaths. Rounding the upper back, belly button to the spine, pressing the heels back, drawing the sternum and chest forward. Beautiful core awakening. Some of you will go into chaturanga. I'll demonstrate at first. Knee, chest, and chin. Easy cobra here. A little faster than the longer Ashtanga Pranam I did earlier. On the exhale, I come into Adho Mukha Down Dog. Lifting that left leg to about hip level. Mindfully draw the left knee to the chest, to the nose. We're going to take that back right foot and turn it to a 45-degree angle. Planting, pressing outer edge of the right foot. If that's a little challenge, some of you may pick up that back heel if that's a little bit of a challenge. But in Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1, we want to press outer edge. Draw that right hip forward. Front leg is parallel to the ground. Knee is pointed straight ahead. Belly button to the spine, creating spinal length, generating leg strength. We'll stay here several breaths. Framing the foot. Whatever your flow is, this time I'm going to explore Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, coming into Adho Mukha. Lift that right leg to about hip level. Rotate that right hip inward just a bit. Draw the right knee to the chest, to the nose. Turn that back foot about 45 degrees. Good, and again, if some of you struggle, you can kind of come onto the ball of the back foot. Press outer edge of the back foot. Draw that left hip forward. Front leg, knee pointed directly over straight ahead over the ankle and going towards those toes. Create length in the spine. Activate both arches and both feet. Framing the foot, whatever your flow is. I'll up dog. We'll stay here 5 breaths. Breathing into any stiffness, any pain. Moving through the palms, through especially the index fingers. Tailbone back and down. Active legs, engage the quadriceps. Transition forward, walking forward. Inhale, sternum and chest forward, halfway lift, look forward and down. Exhale, come into forward fold. And this is where I shift more to the midfoot. We'll stay here several breaths. And then bring the sternum and chest towards the shins. Inhale, swan dive up. Opening the chest. Opening the heart. Exhale, heart centered. Again, utilizing the block if you have one. Activating the quadriceps. Rooting through the 4 corners of the feet, squeezing the blocks, drawing the femur heads, rotating inward just a bit. On the exhale, Utkatasana, fierce pose, generating energy. Sit nice and lower. Draw the shoulders on the back ribs and extend the arms from the center of the chest. Keep squeezing the blocks. Exhale, remove the block. Inhale, draw those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back into Phalapasana, whatever your flow is. Exhale, down dog. Lift the left leg to hip level. Mindfully draw the left knee to the chest, to the nose. Turn that back foot and inhale, press with both feet into the ground, drawing length in the spine, but generating feet, front leg parallel to the ground, shoulders down the back. Find your drishti, that's your gaze at the eye level. Frame the foot, whatever the flow is. Lift that right leg to hip level. Draw the knee to the chest. Place the right foot next to the right hand. Turn that back foot 45 to 60 degrees. Activate both arches and both feet. Generating leg strength. Draw those arms up. Take the inner thigh of that back leg and spiral it back a bit. Belly button to the spine. Shoulders down the back ribs. Gaze forward, eye level. Frame the foot. Whatever your flow is. Maybe it's just a down dog. You don't have to do chaturanga, knee, chest, chin. You could do whatever you want to do. 5 breaths here. Press through the palms here to create length in the spine. And think about bringing the pubis bone now back and up. And spiral the backs of the thighs. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Transition forward, walk it forward. Inhale, sternum and chest forward. Exhale, forward fold. Take the tops of the hands now and press into them. Kind of awaken the wrists a little bit more. Give them a little wrist relief, I should say. And now draw the fingers kind of towards each other. So the tops of the hands onto the mat and just giving yourself that wrist relief you deserve and staying in a forward fold. Inhale, swan up. Open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, heart center. Coming to the center of the mat, we'll do a little cleansing breath together. It's a great, well-rounded practice right now, and I'm really proud of you guys sticking together and practicing together, generating this positive energy that each one of you will have. Cleansing breath, inhale. Exhale. To the center of the mat, we'll draw those arms up to kind of about the chest height. We'll add a little bit of a hop, a little bit of awakening here. We're gonna rotate those big toes in slightly. We're gonna press outer edges of both feet. This is what we always do in this 5-point star, this Prasarita stance. We're gonna open our chest. We're gonna open our heart and open the shoulders here as we, draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale, pressing outer edges of the both feet. Exhale, come forward. Continue to open the chest, open the heart, and try to think about getting the hands almost close to the ground. Continue to rotate those big toes in slightly, awaken the arches, press outer edges of both feet. Breathe into those hamstrings, the backs of the thighs, as well as the inner groin here. We'll stay here several breaths. Inhale, root and rise, belly button to the spine, halfway lift. Rise. So back strengthener when we do that. We're going to turn that right foot here, preparing for Virabhadrasana 2. So the heel intersects with the back arch or the back heel, and you begin to feel that right hip opening, and that right knee kind of goes towards the pinky toe. That's what you're aiming for in Virabhadrasana 2. We're extending the arms from the center of the chest, and we're drawing the shoulders down the back. Gazing out over that right hand. Press outer edge of the back foot. On the exhale, we're going to come into extended angle where the right elbow or shoulder comes inside the knee and almost stabilizes it a bit. Still thinking of the knee going towards the pinky toe. Maybe we're going to stay in 6 o'clock arms, and maybe we're going to grow the pose, externally rotating that left arm, opening that side body, drawing the left top ribs back, right bottom ribs forward. Inhale, rise. Virabhadrasana 2. Let's come into revolved warrior 2. Left hand comes down the back leg. Right hand brushes the ceiling, opening that side body. Several breaths. Gently release. We're going to adjust this back foot a few inches, rotating that back foot in 15 degrees. Trikonasana, Uttita Trikonasana, triangle. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reaching towards the wall. Take the right hand to the shin. Keep the body in one plane. It's better to stay high here. Keep the body in one plane than it is to slouch, right? On the exhale, keeping the body in one plane, maybe the hand comes a little bit lower, only if we can draw the bottom ribs forward, top ribs back. Inhale, rise. Revolved or reverse triangle here. Draw the right hand to the ceiling, brushes the ceiling, and draw that right hip up a bit, reverse triangle. Exhale, 5-point star, cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Adjusting that left foot here. Virabhadrasana 2, knee towards that pinky toe. Extend the arms from the center of the chest. Now gaze over that left hand. Extended angle. On the exhale, we're going to take the left shoulder or elbow, and many of us just stay 6 o'clock arms, working on our form. I always want you to keep that space here. The space here between the side and the thigh. If you can, you're going to grow the pose, but keep the elbow or shoulder inside of that left knee, growing the pose, top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. Left knee towards the pinky toe. Elongating the torso. Inhale, rise. Reverse, warrior 2. Left hand brushes the ceiling. Right arm down the back leg. Gently release, straighten the front leg. Adjust that back foot a few inches, preparing for a triangle. I like this left leg to rotate from inside out, knee pointed straight ahead. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach the left hand towards the wall. We'll stop first, the hand by the shin, keeping the body in one plane. I'd rather you stay here than slumping forward. If we can, we may come a little bit lower. Good. If the neck does not bother you, you may gaze up. If it bothers you, gaze at the ground. Gaze straight ahead. And use the breath. Breathe into that back hip. Inhale, rise. Draw that left hand up. Draw that left hip up. Beautiful reverse triangle. On the exhale, both feet again, pointed straight ahead, rotate those big toes in slightly. We'll come into kind of a twist in our Prasarita stance. We'll take the hands by the lower back here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come forward. We'll start with the hands directly under the shoulders, kind of a concave back, we can call it. We're going to take the left hand in the middle. We're going to draw that right arm up, and this is where we still want to take that left hip and kind of level the pelvis. Take the right hand here to the left hip. Many of us are going to simply stay here. But if we can, some of us will take the right hand to the left hip and then draw the left hand to the right ankle, creating a little bit of a spinal twist, but still taking that left hip and kind of trying to level the pelvis. We're opening the upper and middle part of our back, our thoracic vertebrae. Continue to gaze over the right shoulder. Release. Both hands under the shoulders. Gaze forward. Take the right hand to the middle. Draw that left arm up. Many of us simply are going to stay here, and we're still, even here, doing this beautiful spinal twist. But continue to take that right hip and try to level that right hip. If you can, take the left hand to the right hip. Take the right hand to the left ankle, generating the spinal twist. Gaze over that left shoulder if we can, and take that right hip, level the pelvis. Gently release. Both hands under the shoulders, concave back. Gazing forward and down, lengthening the neck. Hands to the hips. Let's do belly button to the spine. Come up halfway. Kind of recruiting these lower back muscles. Inhale, rise. Heel, toe it in. Beautiful. Parsvottanasana. In Parsvottanasana, we'll start with the right leg forward this time. Some of you might use a block. We'll take a block if some of you need it. We'll start with Parsvottanasana. We're going to take, it's like a pyramid stretch, and we're going to try to take that back leg. This is the back left foot is about 45. The back foot is 45 to 60 degrees. We're going to have a stable back foot, and the back leg is rotating inward a bit. Some of you might use the block, and you might have the block in front, right? We're going to take the hands on the lower back here. Inhale, create length, draw the shoulders down the back, open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, we're going to come forward. Some of you might keep the hands to the hips. Some of you may come to the ground or to the block. But when you do this, I want you to kind of come up more to that right midfoot and almost lift that right hip up a bit. And almost kind of draw the inner thighs towards one another in Parsvottanasana. Press outer edge of the back foot. Eventually, some of you might bring the sternum and chest forward, but still kind of lift that right hip. Good. Take that back inner thigh, spiral it back. Several breaths. Inhale, come to the ground, back is flat, and rise. And now we're going to adjust. Let's do a cleansing breath together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And this time we're going to draw, the left foot is 90 degrees, the back foot 45 to 60 degrees. Intersect, heel to arch or heel to heel. Maybe we'll start again with the hands by the lower back. Open the chest, open the shoulders. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come forward. Some of you might just keep the hands on the hips. Working on hip stability. Eventually, maybe the hands to the block or the hands to the ground. And this is where I want us to shift more to the ball of that left foot a little bit, but still press outer edge of the back foot. When we do that, I want us to lift that left hip a bit and think about trying to kind of level the pelvis. So my left foot is almost like a gas pedal, and I'm just trying to kind of level that left hip. Good. My inner thighs almost touch and splay back. I'm going to use the breath and come a little bit lower into the posture, possibly bring my sternum and chest close to the shin, but keep that left hip coming back. We'll stay here several breaths. Inhale, draw those arms up, belly button to the spine. Rise. Beautiful. You may keep some blocks nearby you as we work on our split pose. I love to do the splits a little bit. I don't need a block, but the blocks work very well for a lot of people, okay, while they're working on splits. Splits is another beautiful posture that I like to do to really warm myself up before my back bends. So we'll come to the back edges of our mat. We'll start about feet about hip width, maybe an inch or two wider. Inhale, draw those arms. Exhale, come into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Walking it forward into down dog. Adho Mukha, inner spiral, the backs of the thighs. Shoulders down the back, tailbone back and down. Lifting that left leg to hip level. On the exhale, bring the knee to the chest and the nose. Runner's pose, similar to almost how we warmed up today. In runner's pose, find this beautiful balance with the front and the back leg. Pressing the right hand down, drawing inhale, drawing the arms up, the left arm up, creating a little bit of spinal length. And moving again in that transverse rotation. On the exhale, we're going to kind of claw with the left hand down and draw that right arm up, opening the chest, opening the heart, but continue to rotate that back right hip inward a bit. Framing the foot, lower the runner's pose, and then we're going to lower the right knee to the ground. We're a little bit more awake, plantar flexion of that back foot. Inhale, beautiful Anjaneyasana. Open the chest, open the heart. Sometimes I like to interlace my hands, draw my thumbs towards my body here. Breathing into the hip. Opening the chest and opening the heart, opening the hip flexors. Taking the right hand kind of inside the left foot, ways away though, and draw that left arm up. Bending that right leg, and maybe I do this several times until I can clasp on the outer edge of the foot. Drawing that right foot towards the buttocks. And what I'm doing is I'm opening that right hip flexor. Maybe I close my eyes. I'm even drawing my left shoulder in just a bit. Gently release. Ardha Anamanasana, half split. This is where I gently send those hips back. I'm pressing through that left heel, and if you see, I'm drawing my sternum and chest over the left shin. And when I do this, I like to activate right where those hamstrings attach. And this is where each of us has our own unique sense of where we are. Let's explore as we press that left heel and bring it forward, but kind of keeping the hips where they are. And many of us might use a block on either side. I'll demonstrate with the block here. Many of us are going to use the blocks. I like to kind of keep the blocks down for stability here. And finding our splits. Finding Satara Sukha, steady and at ease. Eventually, we find to the point where we're a little bit uncomfortable. I'm going to go down a lot lower because the splits are in my practice. Anamanasana. Left hip back. Right hip forward. Spinal length in the spine. Draw those arms up. And it's here that sometimes I like to add a little bit of a back bend, where I take the upper spine, bring it through the heart. Lowering the hands, let's just stay here several more breaths. Beautiful and mindful. I like to transition out of this pose a little bit mindfully too. So this is where I kind of root into those fingertips and I draw that left heel back, mindfully transition. Coming into Adho Mukha down dog. Adjust my block so you guys can see. Maybe do a little heel toe between. Draw the right knee to the chest, to the nose. Place the right foot next to the right hand. And we're going to take that left hand, press it into the ground, and draw that right arm up, rotating that back hip inward a bit. Lower the right hand, it kind of come into a claw onto my fingertips, and I draw that left arm up, but I still kind of come onto the pinky of that back foot too. Opening the chest, open the heart, creating a little bit of length here. Gently lower, come into runner's pose here, activating that pelvis of both legs. Then I'm going to gently lower the knee, the back knee to the ground, plantar flexion of that back foot. Inhale, beautiful Anjaneyasana. So we open the chest, open the heart. We'll stay here several breaths. Interlacing the fingers. Coming to the thigh, thumbs coming towards us, and almost push away a little bit. Breathe into the left hip flexor. Gently release. Left hand to the ground. Draw that right arm up, and this is where we take the back foot several times. Eventually, can I clasp outer edge of the back foot, drawing the heel towards the buttocks. Breathing into that left hip. Gently release, framing the foot. Shifting those hips back, pressing through the heel of the right foot here. Sternum and chest forward, awakening where those hamstrings intersect. Shifting that right heel forward, activating those hamstrings here. Come into Anjaneyasana. This is where some of us might use the blocks. And we're always trying to kind of, this is a deep hamstring, hip flexor opening. Right hip back, left hip forward. Coming into our Anjaneyasana. Open that chest, open that. Lower the fingers to the ground, but continue to open the chest, open the heart. Mindfully transition. I kind of come hands outside the hips a little bit. Draw that right heel back. Mindfully transition. Coming into down dog, Adho Mukha. Maybe we'll bend the knees here and bring the sternum and chest close to the thighs and really give ourselves a back stretch without the hamstrings coming to play. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Come back to Adho Mukha. Down dog. Gently lower to the knees. and we're really warm and prepared for our back bends. The first one we're gonna, and back bends are kind of an independent type of a practice. We're gonna have all different levels. But we all warm up, Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow here, is going to be our peak pose, our peak back bend that opens the chest and the heart. And not all of us are going to be ready yet because our shoulder flexibility isn't ready. But we're all going to warm up together with bridge pose, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, which is many elements of our back bends. It's a beautiful back bend. And we're going to start with our feet hip distance apart, close to the buttocks. We're going to rotate those big toes in just slightly so we have an inward rotation of our femurs, which helps us generate length in the spine. We're going to exhale, pressing into the ground, and then inhale, we're going to drive those hips up. Some of us may keep the hands by the hips, right, if we're struggling with flexibility. And if we're going to keep the hands by the hips, we're going to stay here and still listen to the elements of the posture. Some of us now, we're going to come up higher onto the shoulders. And if we can, maybe we clasp the hands behind. We continue to root through the feet, and this is where the knees stay in line with the hips. They're not bowing out. Knees stay in line with the hips. That's by rotating that big toe in slightly. We're thinking about the tailbone going towards the knees, and lastly, the sternum towards the chin, and we'll stay here 10 breaths. To come out of this pose, sometimes I like to bring my arms over my head, releve up on the balls of the feet, and gently lower one vertebrae at a time. For many of us, that's a challenge, and we're going to simply stay there and practice that maybe one or two more times, maybe a wide-legged child's pose in our own independent practice. For some of us, Urdhva Dhanurasana, similar elements will warm up. Feet are hip width apart. We rotate those big toes in slightly. Again, that's to keep the knees in line with the hips. Okay? So heels towards the buttocks, rotate those big toes in slightly. The hands are coming towards the shoulders. See, those elbows are pointed up. And in our first phase of Urdhva Dhanurasana, we often root through the feet, root through the palms, and we rest kind of our head to the mat, and eventually can we press and straighten those arms. So we activate even the arches of the feet, internal rotation of the femur head, sacrum towards the knees. Eventually, I really like to work on this posture, keeping my shoulders directly over my palms. And we'll stay here several breaths, sacrum towards the knees, pressing through the feet, lifting the hips, pressing through the palms, opening the chest, opening the heart. Gently lower. Beautiful. Cleansing breaths together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Urdhva Dhanurasana again. Feet are hip width apart. Rotate those big toes in slightly. Palms coming towards the shoulders. Elbows pointed straight up. On the exhale, press the feet, press the palms. Inhale, rise. Shoulders directly over the hands if we can. Rotate the big toes in slightly. Inner spiral the thighs. Sacrum towards the knees. Continue to think about pressing through the palms, opening the chest, opening the heart. Gently release. do that again. Sometimes I like to come up to the wall, and I'm hoping you can even see me against the wall here. And adjust this a bit. So I take the mat towards the wall, I think you can still see me here, and I take the blocks, and when I do this, many of us, this is a little too much, but say you practice for a while and you have this video, this is something that you can keep working on, okay? So I take the blocks and I make them about shoulder width apart, because this is practicing yoga for a while. Maybe taking our yoga teacher training program like the college or whatever, or maybe being a former gymnast and a former dancer and you have this in you. And again, feet are hip width apart. I take the blocks and I press them into the wall here, and I take the hands and I almost trap the blocks so they're not going to go anywhere. Rotate those big toes in slightly. On the exhale, I press up. And eventually I think about bringing my sternum and chest towards the wall. And sometimes I releve up on the ball of my feet and take the pressure kind of off my back. And we'll hold here 3 breaths. I gently lower my heels and I come back down. One of my mentors taught me 5 back bends a day, 5 Urdhva Dhanurasanas for a glorious back stretch. We're going to do another one here. Whatever back bends, bridge, wherever you are. And maybe you're chilling out in the child's pose. Nothing's wrong with that. Independent back practice. Open the chest, open the heart. And it's okay to kind of come up on the ball of the foot and just take pressure off the lower back. Stay here several breaths. And gently come out of this pose. Beautiful. And now we want to neutralize the spine a little bit. We're going to come onto our backs here. We're going to draw both knees to the chest. Plus around the shins. Draw both knees now over to the right and extend that left arm down, left shoulder towards the ground. Knees are stacked over one another. When the left shoulder comes to the ground, we're simply releasing the upper and middle part of the back. So breathe into that release on the exhale. We'll stay here 10 breaths. Gently release, guide both knees to the center. Stacking both knees over on top of one another. Extend that right arm to the side. Think about the shoulder coming to the ground and really on the exhale, releasing the upper and middle part of the back. Gently release, draw both knees to the chest, to the nose. Press around the shins, and when I do this, I think about kind of leveling out both sides of the tailbone, kind of both sides of the lower back to the ground. Coming into happy baby pose. This is where we're going to widen the knees. Some of you will just place the hands kind of under the thighs and think about bringing the knees towards the chest and the shoulders. Many of you, can you take the arms on the inside and now clasp outer edges of the feet, and on the exhale we bring the knees towards the shoulders. On the inhale, I think about kind of creating length in my lower back. I breathe into the knees towards the shoulders, but yet length in the spine, tailbone towards the ground. Gently release. Coming into one forward fold before we take our Shavasana today. And this is where some of you, right, that struggle a little bit with coming forward here, the strap can help us. And this is also why when I root through my sitting bones, I create length in Dandasana, and that's an ability to take that pelvis and rotate it forward a little bit. Some of us sometimes have to sit up on a little blanket or a little bit of a block to help with that rotation, and you're not alone. There's many people that practice yoga that do that. And then often when I have my students live, I walk around and I see that and I encourage that. So if you know you cannot sit straight up, that's something that you like to do. If you also have a hard time bringing your sternum and chest forward while keeping the outer edges of the feet coming back, you might utilize a strap. If you've got a lot of flexibility, you might take a block. I sometimes do 2 blocks. And we're going to do 2 forward folds. A little dynamic expression. The first one will hold for a few breaths. Second will hold a little bit longer. Inhale, root through the sitting bones. Exhale, come forward. Sternum and chest forward. Inhale, rise. And we're going to do one more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come forward. We're going to stay here and hold quite a while. This will continue to bring the sternum and the chest forward. Outer edges of the feet. Rotate it back. Sink into the pose and kind of release the hamstrings and the lower back. We'll stay here quite a while longer. Inhale and rise. Preparing for our Shavasana. Beautiful. And I'm truly let everything go. If you wanted to, sometimes I like to kind of reach my arms and legs, kind of root them one towards the wall, one towards the opposite direction. Just create a little bit of a length of the spine one last time as we nestle into our Shavasana. And we're going to stay here quite a while. Let everything go. Relax the palms, relax the feet. Sometimes I nestle the shoulders into the mat just a bit.